Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. I'm doing a series of spotlights on remarkable business intermediaries from across the country. And joining me on this segment from Cocoa Beach, Florida, is Kent Cooper. He's the founder of Capstone Commercial. Kent, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Kent, tell us a little bit about your work, and specifically, who are the types of clients that you specialize in serving?
I provide four core services for my clients. First is high-end business brokerage or mergers and acquisitions advisory services. Second, I also provide commercial brokerage real estate services. Third, I'm also a certified general real estate appraiser. So I do certified general real estate appraisals. And fourth, I'm a certified valuation analyst. So I do valuation of different businesses. I focus on the lower middle market, but being in a tertiary market, I really go a little bit below that. I concentrate on businesses that have EBITDAs of at least 500,000 and up. I've been doing this for 20 years.
These particular businesses, these smaller business to middle businesses, when they get started in business, they probably don't think too much about with the end in mind. So how prepared are they to sell when they reach out to you? What do you find?
I'm finding a lot of this is an educational process that I have to go through with them. Many of them have developed their business. They know their business inside out. They know how to make a profit, but they don't know necessarily how to value that, nor do they know how to position it for sale or an exit for themselves. To me, when you go in business, there's only one reason you go into business: is to build it up and then sell it for profit. Now, there are
probably spending years and years just thinking growth, and
yes,
not really thinking about the selling part of it. So when
right.
they reach out to you, do they even know where to start? What are the biggest concerns on their mind? Like, what are the questions that they're posing to you?
Well, a lot of people don't understand the intricacies of trying to value the business. And that includes looking at it both on an asset sale basis and as well as a stock basis. They don't know the difference in those. It's my job to help educate them along with their profession, which includes their CPAs and their attorneys, in the proper methods of which to enter the marketplace to offer the business for sale to start with. So my first step is really just to take a comprehensive look at the last 3 years of their financials, both the profit and loss statement as well as the balance sheet. That to me is something that not necessarily all the business owners even have an understanding of their balance sheets and how it impacts their P&L statements. So I have to do some educating on that part as well.
Do you find that there's the inspiration for doing this series in particular is like the lack of information, or sort of like a lot of jumbled information out there? Are there any big like common myths or misconceptions that you hear from your prospects? Anything that they hold on to that may sabotage their success?
Well, certainly there is. I've never met a business owner yet that didn't think their business is worth more than actually is in the marketplace. Okay, I have been surprised by that, but pretty much that's the rule. When business owners themselves want to sell their business, they try first to think, well, I can save a lot of commission by not hiring a professional to help me with this. So they might fumble around with that for a while, and they're going to be very unsuccessful there. And if they are successful in finding a buyer, it's going to be a low bid because they don't really understand the intricacies of how to price these and what the steps are needed to actually finance that acquisition for the buyer. So I work on both sides of that.
I feel like, with the lack of information out there and the lack of clarity in what to do, maybe linked to the statistic. I read a recent statistic that like a huge percentage of businesses that go on the market actually turn out to be unsold. What causes that? What makes a business unsellable or unattractive to sell?
Well, you're right. I think the statistics are probably somewhere between 25 and 30% are actually sold, that are actually listed. That's what the statistics say. And I believe that a lot of which these businesses are way overpriced, and nobody can even approach them. It's an educational process to talk to the seller to try to get them to understand that you're trying to get too much for the business. You can't even get the financing for it. To me, when you're selling a business, it has to be both fair to the seller as well as the buyer. But in many cases, the buyer has to have financing as part of the acquisition. And if a bank is not going to touch it because of the price that they're trying to achieve, that's just not going to happen. It's just going to sit in the market. There'll be a number of people that come by to kick the tires and look and see what it is, but you're not going to get anywhere because it's overpriced and they don't have proper representation, in my opinion.
If someone's considering selling a business today, how far in advance should they start planning? And what are the big key things that they need to take care of?
That's a great question. And I do a lot of coaching in that area. Some businesses, he wakes up, says, that's it, I'm ready to sell. Okay, you've got that attitude. Then you've got another guy who says, look, I want to do some planning. I'm not ready to walk away now, but it will take me some time to put my position in order for my profit and loss statements. And let me give you an example why that's important. A lot of businesses don't like paying federal taxes. Therefore, their profit and loss statements look like they haven't made any money because they try to possibly expense certain expenses that are non-business oriented through that profit and loss statement. Well, if you've done that for a number of years, it really doesn't look pretty on the profit and loss statement. So it might take a guy for a year or 2 years to try to get that profit and loss statement back in shape to make somebody look at it in a real open manner in which they want to buy it, and which you can also finance the business.
Ken, what inspired you to get into this line of work and help people value and sell their businesses? How did you get started?
And this goes way back in my 20s. My first job, I went through 3M company training, and then I decided I didn't want to do something better in my life, and I became a business broker with corporate investment business brokers, which was Tom West's franchise attempt. Tom West is kind of a legend in this business. And I went through corporate investment business brokers in San Antonio, Texas for a number of years. And then I thought, I want to go on the next higher step. So I joined Payne Weber. I became a stockbroker with them for a number of years. And then I became a stockbroker with Lehman Brothers after that for a period of years. And after that, I went through the crash in 1987 and decided I don't want to do this anymore. So I actually went out and became a chief financial officer for a company at the Kennedy Space Center. It was a publicly traded company. They didn't last. They were like the SpaceX, but 20 years too early. Okay. And then after that, I started a couple businesses. I started an environmental laboratory. I had about 42 employees. During that period, I also started an engineering company doing hazardous waste remediation. I sold both of those businesses to my partners. And then in 2001, I started Capstone Commercial. I just went back to something I was used to doing. I'm very comfortable in doing the business brokerage field as well as commercial real estate. And it's just a natural for me. I don't want any more employees. I like being a boutique broker just by myself. And I've been doing this for 20 years, and it's very rewarding for me because it's not just the money. It really isn't. It's helping people, and it's giving somebody the chance to really blossom from what they've achieved and what they've built over the years. And I like doing that. That gives me a good feeling.
And it's great to see that your experience comes from in the trenches and having sold your own businesses yourself. So that's terrific. Kent, for folks listening now who are inspired, they know that they need to get their ducks in order because they're considering selling their business. How can they, find out more information, get a hold of you, connect with you, and learn more?
Well, I appreciate that. I'm in Cocoa Beach. My website is capstonebrevard.com. I am an M&A advisory firm as well as a commercial brokerage firm. The best way to get in hold of me is just looking at my website, but my email is the same thing. It's kent@capstonebrevard.com. Capstone Commercial is the name of my company. Brevard is the county I live in. There is another Capstone Commercial out there, a couple different places, so I couldn't actually use that in my web site. But that's it, Kent@capstonebrevard.com, and I'm at 321-720-0429.
Kent, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time, stopping by and sharing with my audience today. And I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time too, Mark.
That was Kent Cooper, the founder of Capstone Commercial. And this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.